Hey everyone, welcome to my channel and another video. Fedora Linux 38 will hopefully be released soon. If you are on an immutable version like Silverblue, you're in luck because you can literally check out the latest beta flavor, do your testing, and roll back to your pinned default deployment when you're finished. Stay tuned for a demonstration and much more right after this. For this demo, I'll be using my testing VM, which, by the way, we will configure very similarly to the deployment I used in recording this very video. Along the way, we'll switch from Silverblue 37 to Kinoite 38, the KDE plasma flavor named after a light blue mineral, and back again. This is a standard Fedora 37 Silverblue installation on a virtual machine. Make the terminal a little bigger, full screen rather, and as you can see, if I do GNOME shell version, we are running GNOME 43.3 on the Linux kernel 6.1.18. So nothing fancy going on here. It's a standard Fedora Silverblue 37 install. I've developed a dead simple setup script for configuring this Silverblue installation. And you can develop your own. This is a dead simple bash script. First, what I like to do is update and layer the packages that I want. So you can see this is what I choose for my KVM virtualization, remote desktop connections, etc., etc. Distro box as well, very handy. And when that's done, I'll have the script remove the Fedora 37 Flathub filter per user by executing this command. Then we'll do a Flatpak update to make sure our existing Flatpaks are ready to go. And then I've got a bunch of per user Flatpaks that I like. You can go to flathub.org and choose your own. But this is what I use for my default workstations. And then I have the script remind the people to reboot once they're done running it. So that looks pretty good, but before we execute the script, let's check the status for RPM OSTree and make sure it's not trying to update things in the background. That'll conflict with the script and we don't want that to happen. So as you can see, we have two deployments already, one from March 13th and one from March 14th. So this system has already been updated in the past. But we'll do another update since it's the 19th when I do this video recording. So let's run the script and have it do its magic. Very simple to configure your Silverblue deployments. Just run the script. So it's updating and layering the packages, downloads a bunch of stuff, and then creates a new deployment. So another image, a mutable image that you can boot from using the grub menu. All right, so it layers the packages, updates if necessary any Flatpak that we have already installed. And then we install our user level Flatpaks that we've selected in the script. Very simple. And then we go ahead and reboot the system. So we'll just, first of all, before we do that, do an RPM OSTree status. As you can see, this is the deployment we're currently running, denoted by the white dot on the left of your screen. And we've just created a new deployment with all these layered packages. So we've got 43 upgraded packages through the standard Fedora update, and then 221 added layered packages. Those are these packages plus their dependencies. So that's done. So again, that'll put this on position 0. And we're running on position 1 right now in our deployments in the grub menu. So let's reboot. And let's see if our new deployment works. Looks like we've got the reboot successful. And here it is. Here's our GNOME desktop. So what happened was we've just booted into position 0, our deployment 0. We're still running GNOME shell 43.3, so that hasn't been updated. And we're still on kernel 6.1.18. That hasn't been updated either in today's updates. So what we can do next is do an rpm-OSTree status. As you can see, we lost the March 13th deployment. It only keeps by default the most recent 2 deployments, right? So the top one is deployment 0, and that's denoted by the white dot. We're running that right now. And we still have the March 14th deployment to roll back to in case this operation did not work. So you can always roll back. So let's check. We've got LibreOffice running. Cool. So it looks like our Flatpaks were properly installed. Very good. Okay. So next, let's sudo OSTree admin pin the 0th deployment, this one up here, because we want to make sure that as we update, we don't lose a known good working configuration. So before you do any operations with branches and so on, you pin your last working known good configuration by doing an OSTree admin. So as you can see now, deployment 0 is pinned. Deployment 1, which is the March 14th update, is not pinned. So we can sacrifice it if necessary for our updates and our branch switches. Okay, but it's always a good thing to do, is to pin your known good deployment. Next, we've got this home directory. What we want to do, because we're switching branches, we don't want to mess with our home directory. We've got a known good home directory, is do a snapshot, right? Because this is a BTRFS system. So our current BTRFS subvolumes, the root subvolumes, are var, home, and root for Fedora Silverblue. So home is one of the subvolumes, so let's do a snapshot. Make it a fake backup of sorts. It's not a real backup. You should do real backups of your home directories. Systems can be rebuilt, but home documents might not be able to, so do real backups, folks. So I've created a .snapshots directory in var home, which will hold our snapshots. And then all we have to do is do a sudo BTRFS subvolume snapshot -r for read-only, so we don't want anybody to touch our snapshot backup, fake backup, /var/home into /var/home .snapshots /home-1. That's our first snapshot of, and you can call it any way you want, our first snapshot of the home subvolume. And it's linked to var home in Silverblue, right? Because this is an immutable operating system. So if you do ls-a of our snapshot, Steven snapshot, you can see we've got a faithful copy backed up of sorts that we can fall back to once we're done testing a new branch, say a Fedora 38 branch. And if we do a sudo BTRFS subvolume list, you can see that ID 259 is our home subvolume snapshot. All right. Okay, let's make it the terminal full screen again. And let's do an OSTree remote refs or branches. Refs is a synonym for branches here in Fedora Immutable systems. For Fedora, And as you can see, we've got a whole bunch of different branches to test for different architectures such as PowerPC, ARM 64, and Intel x64, Core OS, Atomic Host, etc. I'm going to choose for this demonstration Kinoite, named after a light blue silver mineral, and it's version 38 of Kinoite. So let's test it out, right? We're on Silverblue. This is easy. All you do is RPM, OSTree, rebase, and then the branch you want to rebase it to. In this case, Fedora Fedora 38 x86-64 Kinoite, since this is an Intel AMD x64 based machine. So this is going to take a while. These repos are not very fast, so you can see. So I've done a little creative video editing here and make this a lot faster than it's likely to be for you. But what it does is it downloads the Kinoite 38 branch and rebuild the image for a new position 0 deployment with all your layered packages. Right? So if I do RPM-OSTree status, you can see now we're currently running position 1, denoted by the white dot, the March 19th Silverblue 37 image. But when we reboot, we'll be booting into the Kinoite 38 image. And look, it pulled over a bunch of upgraded packages, including our layered packages. They're all still here. And if you have removed packages using an RPM override, that'll carry over too. It's amazing power. So let's reboot. And here we go. This looks like an SDDM, not a GDM display manager. So let's select desktop session Plasma X11. We can log in. Look how easy this is, folks. We're now on Kinoite KDE Plasma Kinoite 38. We've got already updates available. We'll ignore that today. This is just a demonstration. Look how easy this was. Now we've rebased to KDE Plasma. If I go to the settings and about the system, you can see we're running KDE Plasma version 5.27.3 on kernel version 6.2.7. Remember, we were on 6.1.18 earlier in our previous deployments. Pretty cool. And it carried over all our flat packs, because flat packs are stored in containers in our home directory, right? So if I go to console and do an RPM-OSTree status, you can see we've lost the March 14th deployment. We haven't pinned it. We still have the pinned March 19th. Excuse me, the old. Well, I'm confused now. I think the March 14th we lost. We still have the 19th. That's pinned. And we're running the 19th Kinoite 38 version. So if I go to .config directory in my home directory, you can see that now, glad we did the snapshot, because we got a whole bunch of KDE Plasma components here in our configuration. So testing, including trolltech.conf, testing Kinoite from a Silverblue install does affect your home directory fundamentally. So, but again, like I just mentioned, all your flat packs are carried over when you switch branches. That's why it's one of the powers of Flathub and Flatpaks. So here you go. We're still running the same version of LibreOffice. We have the light mode, the theming going on here. We were dark mode under GNOME, if you recall. But as you can see, everything works great. So supposing we're done now with testing. To roll back, all we do is restart. And here, the timing is critical here when you hit escape, especially on a virtual machine. It can become tricky. Looks like I missed my window of opportunity. What to do here? I want to get back to the grub menu, rather. So I'm just going to shut it down and restart my virtual machine guest. And now, if I escape, there we go. Got the grub menu here. So deployment 0 is Kinoite. Deployment 1, if you recall, is Silverblue. So I'm going to select deployment 1 here, and it should boot up my Silverblue 37. Branch, deployment. As you can see, we're back to GDM. You can log in here. And perfect. We're back to Fedora Silverblue 37 after our successful Kinoite 38 testing. So we'll do an rpm-OSTree status. As you can see, Kinoite is still in location 0 as a deployment, and Silverblue 37 is, denoted by the white dot on the left of your screen, on the left of the terminal, is the currently booted deployment. So let's go back to .config, and as you can see, we did not change our home directory at all. We still have all the KDE Plasma items that are left over from our Kinoite 38 testing. So luckily, we have a snapshot backup, supposedly. So let's go to /var/home. And let's remove our current home directory, sudo rm-fr Steven. Don't do this unless you have a backup, right? A tested good backup. Only then do you do this. So it complains the directory is not empty, is probably some files still in use. Let me go into my remaining directory here, home directory. And let's just remove these remaining directories individually by hand. So I'm moving .local, .config, do .cache. Again, we don't want to overwrite our backup onto our existing directory. We want to remove all remnants of our KDE Plasma testing and all the KDE Plasma related items. That's why I'm removing my directory. So there we go. It's my Steven home directory is gone, as you can see. So all that's left to do is sudo copy preserve permissions and recursively /var/home.snapshots home-1 Steven. This will back up any other home directories you have on the system, by the way, the snapshot, onto the var home, which is linked to home directory. And there we go. So let's log out and log back in again. Let's open up the terminal. And let's go to the .config directory. As you can see, all our KDE things, Plasma things, are gone. So we have our old home directory back, post Kinoite 38 testing. So you've got Fedora Silverblue and our Fedora Silverblue 37 home directory. Good, so that worked. So now all that remains is to roll back our deployment. So we want to swap Kinoite, which is position 0, unpinned, by the way. You can pin it if you like to preserve this deployment for Kinoite. We want to switch that with the Silverblue deployment by rolling back now. So let's do it by typing rpm-OSTree rollback. And that's all you have to do. So we're moving this deployment identifier to be the first deployment. Transaction is complete. This happens very quick. So we'll just do a systemctl reboot. And we've rebooted. We're logging in. As you can see, the default now is Fedora Silverblue 37. It's like QNOITE 38 never happened. So if I do another RPM OSTree status, now our Silverblue is in position 0 and QNOITE is position 1. We're having a GNOME software update happening right now, or checking for updates, so it's busy. But yeah, perfect. We have the system back to where it was, and we can always fall back to QNOITE 38 if we ever want to, and we just pin it if we want to keep this deployment. I remove on my systems GNOME software and package kit because I want to do my updates manually, and I'll also save several hundred megs of RAM by doing it. But yeah, all our Flatpaks are still here, including our LibreOffice 7512, same as always. And I think our mission is accomplished, but in case all this rebranching is messed up with your Flatpaks, we'll do a Flatpak user repair, just in case. I don't think there's anything wrong with our Flatpak databases. It looks like everything is fine. But it's a good thing to run once in a while and clean up your Flatpaks. So it looks like we're all done. Some say immutable operating systems like CoreOS, QNOITE, and Silverblue are the future of Fedora Linux distros. Based on my experiences over the past several months, I tend to agree with them. Maybe you will too. Anyway, if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching, and do smash the like button and the bell notifications so you won't miss any of my videos. Until next time, take care and have lots of fun.